This is for the women who are ages 25 and under, who are dating or who are looking to date or who are thinking about a partner or want to get married or who are just enamored with wanting to have a relationship. Let me tell you something, dear. Let me tell you something from a woman who's wise, who has been there and done that, right? It is very important to get to know yourself first. Get to know yourself before you get into a relationship with another person. Learn to love yourself first. Find out what it is that you like. Find out what it is that you don't like. Find out what it is that you like in a partner. Find out what it is that you don't like in a partner, right? Because sometimes, depending on our environment, it is encouraged that we get into a relationship. It is encouraged that we start dating. And if you're 25 or younger, you haven't lived enough to know what it is that you want. Experience life first. Find out who it is that you are. Find out who you are first. Find out what you like and what you don't like. I'm not saying everybody is, like this, because some people do grow up fast. And some people, if you're like myself, I had to grow up fast. At the age of 14, I was doing things that people in their 20s should be doing. I had to grow up very fast. I was already, taking care of, the house and going to pick up my grandmother's medicine and cooking and cleaning and, being responsible for taking my grandmother to doctor's appointments and being responsible for a whole bunch of things, taking care of my mom and making sure my mom bills are paid. Me and my sister, because she, was addicted to drugs, I grew up fast, right? But I'm telling you, as a person with experience and who may not have a mother figure in your life that's telling you, because sometimes we have mother figures in our lives, but they don't understand the world. Their view of the world is so outdated and antiquated. They cannot keep up with society today. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of their ideals and their ways are so outdated. It's so 1960 that we in 2022, and they don't understand. They don't relate. Yes, they have some value that they can share, but the world is different. So the same things that applied in 1960 are not relevant today. So for those of you who don't have a mother figure or a big sister figure or a big sister to tell you what's right, I'll be that for you today. And this is your big sister talking to you, right? This is your big sister talking to you. Find out who you are. Find out what it is that you like. Get yourself together. Find out what you want to do in life before you tie yourself down emotionally to another human being. Find out what it is that you love. Find out who it is that you are. Find out your non-negotiables, what you won't tolerate in a relationship. Find those things out first. Does that person have a belief system? Who does he believe in? Does he love family? Is he, find out these things, because sometimes you can get with people and you don't know their values. You don't know what values they have. Do they have family values? What are your values? Does his values match your values, right? Find out who you are first. Find out what you like. Find out who you are at your core. Have a vision for your life before you try to take on the emotions of another human being, because that's what you're doing when you get into a relationship. You're taking on that person's emotions. Now that person is part of you, especially if you're intertwining. If you're not saving yourself for marriage, if you're not a virgin, and if you give yourself to this person, you're going to pick up that person's, ways and his ideals and who he is as a person. You're going to pick that up, because intertwining is a very spiritual thing. Intertwining is very spiritual. That's why most people have a hard time breaking it off with someone, because they're emotionally so they're intertwined at the soul level. When you're intertwined at the soul level, because you have allowed that person to release in you, right? You have just connected yourself with them. All of what he's released in you has become a part of you. He has released his lust in you. He has released his perversion in you. He has released his thoughts into you. His perverted thoughts, his perverted ways. He has released his anger into you. Not only that, he has released his STDs into you. That's sexually transmitted demons and sexually transmitted diseases. When he released in you, you are receiving what it is that he is offering. His perverted mind, you are receiving that. His lust, you are receiving that. His anger, you are receiving that. His twisted thinking, you are receiving that. His hate, his murderous spirit, you are receiving that. That's why you went from loving and caring to confused. Because he has infused you with himself, with his twisted thoughts, with his twisted ways, with his hate. He has released that into you. So ladies, be careful who you intertwine yourself with. I know it feels good, but what are you getting up with? What are you getting up with? What type of twisted thoughts are you thinking now? Why are you so angry? They're talking about the angry black woman, but it's because of what she has allowed to be released in her. Released into her. Take it from your big sister now. If I can do it over again, I would have these things on locks and chains. But see, I wasn't taught that. Although we went to church, I wasn't taught that you save yourself, that you value your purity, because the world is so over-sexualized. Got these young girls want to grow up so quick and want to have sex. And they don't understand when they have sex, right? When they intertwine, I'm trying not to be so graphic, but when they intertwine with another person, they're receiving that person. They're receiving his ways, his anger, his attitude, his way of thinking, his moods. That's why you're so angry. That's not even your character. But because you have allowed him to release into you, now you're angry. You have his anger. You're mad. You're hostile. You're vengeful. You have a murderous spirit. You snapping now. You never snapped before. You were very reserved. Now you're snapping. Now you're going ham because you picked up his spirit. And just imagine if you are intertwining with multiple partners. That's why you're confused. That's why you have mental health issues. That's why your mental health is suffering, because you have too many people releasing into you. Listen to it now. It's spiritual. It is spiritual when you allow someone to release into you. We think of it as if it's just casual. We're in a relationship. This is my boyfriend. This is my friend. This is my sneaky link. I think that's the term now, a sneaky link. Oh, you sneaking, all right. You sneaking again them demons. You sneaking linking. And you linking up with his demons. You linking up with all the people he having sex with. You linking up, itching. Listen now. Listen to someone with wisdom. It's no fun. The reason you find sneaky linking, the reason you find that so attractive, because of who you are. Because of who you've allowed to release into you. They had a sneaky link mindset. Because you have no value. You have no worth. You have no worth. You should want to give your body. Your body is something sacred. If I can do it over again, God knows if I can do it over again, it would be a lot different. But that don't mean that you can't be celibate now. Don't let these people fool you about, giving yourself away just because you've had several partners. That's why it's called, when you know better, you start doing better. When you know better, you make better decisions. When you know better, you could speak different. Your language is different. Your language is different. Be careful. Don't give yourself up to everybody. Save your body. If a person can't wait for you, that is not your person. If a person wants to get in bed with you and he don't respect that you're saving yourself, that is not your person. That is not your soulmate. That is not your husband. I don't care how many people turn you down because you say you're saving yourself for your husband. There are many men out there that are willing to wait, that want something that no one else had. I don't care what they say about the experience. And, I want somebody with experience. Half of the time, people don't know what they want because they can get that and still not be satisfied. Be careful. I'm educating my daughters. Listen, save yourself for your husband. This is why. This is what I went through. They still have the choice to make the decision that they're going to make. But I am explaining to my daughters to save yourself for marriage. Save yourself for your husband so that you won't have to deal with the mental stress, the mental turmoil that your mom dealt with. Confused in her spirit, confused in her being because of who she opened herself up to when she did not know better. I still take full responsibility though. I'm a person of responsibility. That's why this channel is called the Responsibility Podcast or the Responsibility Channel, because I take full responsibility for my actions, even the actions and the decisions I made in ignorance when I was ignorant to facts. I'm responsible for that, right? I am responsible for my decisions. I don't blame no one else. I don't blame the men who abused me. I blame myself. I blame myself. I take responsibility for that. Because I was the common denominator in all those situations. Now I'll talk about it, but it's my responsibility. Even as a 14-year-old who was lost, who didn't have a father figure, who really didn't have any parental guidance, and ended up in a relationship with a man that was 10 years older than me, who took advantage of me. But it was my fault. You know why I say it was my fault? Because I made a decision. Although I made a decision in ignorance, out of ignorance, I still made a decision. I can't blame anyone else. My job is to learn from that. My job is to heal from that. My job is to teach from that. My lessons is someone else's blessings. What I've gone through, what I've endured, the wounds that I've taken, the bullets, the shots that I've taken, those wounds are for someone else, not me. Those wounds are for someone else. My nieces, my children, my nephews. And people will get upset with you because you're trying to teach your children to do things differently. Although they may make decisions that go against what you have taught them, but you cannot say that you didn't teach them. Right? Right? Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't want my kids to make the same mistakes that I did. Even if they do make the same mistakes, at least they had someone to teach them and tell them, and they didn't have to learn on their own. Because most of the things I learned about sex, I learned on my own. I learned from life. And sometimes you need life to teach you because your parents are not going to always be there. And that's okay. But while I'm here on this earth, it's my job as a mother to teach my children to make the right decisions, to learn from mommy's mistake. And if they do make mistakes, give them room to make mistakes. That's life. But one mistake that I don't want them to make is giving their bodies away. Because the body, your wound, when your wound, your body is the gateway to your soul. And you have to be careful who you allow to release in you. That's why people are suffering mentally. I dare to say, and I stand 10 toes down on this. I don't care what religion you believe in. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what God you believe in. I know who I believe in, but I don't care what God you believe in. I dare to say, and I stand 10 toes down, mental health is so prevalent and it's on the rise so much. Is because people are giving their bodies away. Sex is like worship. When you intertwine, you worship with that person. You're worshiping with them. Regardless of what God they believe in, you are worshiping with them. Whatever demons they have, you're going to get. Whatever ideologies they believe, that's your ideology now. Until you get deliverance and you understand the concept of giving your body away, you'll stop doing it so freely.